So, what's up? What's up? Candace Owens, what's really going on with you? Like, you did a whole lot of breakdown, then some added this, then you came with the Trump, then you came with the government, then you came with the black home when it comes to government assistance and not having a man present. If you want help from the government, you cannot have a man present. A man cannot be living in the household. Now, a lot of that, me personally, I just feel that I think some of us should have already been in the know. Candace Owens, she comes from a very strong point of not believing in feminists. I am not a feminist. I believe that women should be able to think for themselves. I believe that the role of a man is important to a household. Being able to identify and respect the role of a man. As how did Diddy get into this?
Especially after the Diddy lawsuit, like what's real and what's not? Who's being blackmailed? Who maybe, is being controlled by certain people? I don't know. These are questions that I think people are ready to start asking, but I definitely have a huge question mark on TI.
You mentioned Diddy lawsuit. You mentioned Diddy lawsuit twice with TI.
What do you mean, what's up? You guys have definitely covered it, right?
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
It suggests that he was the Jeffrey Epstein of Hollywood.
Of Hollywood? Hollywood. Diddy, all I want to do is make you dance when it comes to the music industry. So Hollywood has been controlled for years on top of years. Like, go back to the days allegedly when it was controlled, when Shirley Temple's name was being mentioned. Nickelodeon, Disney, Pokemon, Cowboys and Indians. Again, Hollywood is one sector, but they do tend to meet. Diddy, you're talking about the industry. Before Diddy, who was being controlled? Who's controlling Diddy? What was passed down to Diddy that he was exposed to, that he may have led with what he thought he could get away with because of what was taught to him? There was such a time as Motown Records, owned by Berry Gordy out of Detroit, who Smokey and the Miracles was signed to, Diana Ross, who else? Four Tops. I'm just saying, the music industry was dominated once upon a time by Berry Gordy. Well, guess what, Berry Gordy had to sell out. He had to sell. The culture vultures, they were not culture vultures at that time, was not liking it. He had to sell. Berry ran Motown. Mr. Gordy ran Motown like it was a factory. Every room, every sector of Motown housing had something, whether that was the songwriting room, whether that was the room for choreographer, whether that was the room for media training, whether that was the room for arts, costumes, the visionary room, to go on tour, to plan out the visuals, the live music, just on and on. Well, someone wasn't happy with that, and Berry Gordy had to sell out.
That there's a blackmail ring, that people are people are controlled, right? Because if you're a rapper and your brand is hardcore, and I have a video of you kissing a guy, and I'm like, I'll release it unless you say or do or take this position, that's a blackmail ring.
Well, I really hope that she's not referring to Diddy as being the hardcore rapper, because to me, Diddy just never came off like that as the hardcore rapper. Do this, I have this to use against you. Yeah, it's a ring of some sort that people do use against people, but I think there needed to be a deep dive if she wanted to go there and to actually bring something out of that, because now I feel like she's just drawing for straws, because she can talk. She's a good talker. I feel like she's also a manipulator. I don't know what her agenda is. I don't know why she's going on and on to talk about Diddy. This wasn't the reason for her to be here, but maybe this is her viral moment to bring in Diddy and TI that had nothing. So again, you're smearing up what the agenda is or what your call was to be there. What is your call to action as to why you are at the Breakfast Club, Candace?
Right? So
T.I. wasn't in there though.
no, he wasn't. I'm just saying that the Diddy lawsuit kind of led me to ask some larger questions about, okay, because I have been feeling like in my heart that something weird's going on with black media. You know, I'm like, what is this trash that we're trying to sell as good music? This is
don't go there. Do not go there. Don't go there talking about something's going on with black media. Who owns black media? Oh, wait. Nobody that looks like me owns black media. Therefore, if you're not
this isn't black culture
in control,
even call it.
If you're not the one to own black media, therefore those who are in control, they're going to dictate. They're going to have the narrative. They're going to have the say so, the okay, the no-nos. Or to push it in this direction. I'm not okay. Push it further. Okay, come back with it. And then times 7, come with it even harder to destroy what the media is and what we want to project, what we want to be believed, what the propaganda to be perceived. So if the music is steady encouraging to harm, to bring destruction, to ill, to do substances that can have you not thinking straight or clearly, to have you not making sound decisions, to be in a predicament where you're able to have money not only for yourself, but the next generation. How you gonna go there about black media when a lot of us know and have heard and have been educated at that time when gangster rap came into play, that the CEOs, the attorneys, the A&Rs, the producers would take their gangster rap music home to their lily white areas to ask their kids, their sons, their daughters, what do you think of this music, hun? What you think of this music, son? I like it, Daddy. That's all it took. That's all it took to seal the deal. And next thing you know, we are hearing what we hear today, what has become legendary on the radio to be black culture. When it comes to us, we're not the ones making the deal to sign the artist to say, okay, you're going to get a distribution deal. Okay, this is how many CDs, records that are going to be pressed up to be sent from Arista Records into the stores, to have a scan bar, to be scanned, to have a jacket, to be housed in hopes of you selling X amount of CDs. This many songs is going to be pushed to black radio that we're going to give them. Maybe money was involved. This many songs we hope will push on Apple Music. Black people don't decide when it comes to radio how our music is going to be pushed. There is a machine behind all of this. So when you hear artificial intelligence, it's not real. It's a facade on who they want to measure up. And then the money comes trickling down. That's how money is made. And then the artist is the very last to get paid. So when, is said vouchers, yes, because people vouch on in and will take your money, sign the contract that you know nothing about because you done signed some measly contract that was never meant to benefit you or your family for years to come.
Black culture, because that's like, no, vultures came in and took black culture, turned it into something else. Like I've said it many times. I grew up listening to Lauryn Hill. Stop trying to tell me this is black culture. Like I grew up in my grandfather's house listening to The Temptations. Stop trying to tell me that this is black culture. It's not. This is
black
rotten.
people aren't monolithic. I mean, you're like even you're an example of that.
No, I'm not saying we're a monolith. I'm just saying that black people create magic when they want to. Okay. There is no singer that is better than a black singer. If you want to go tit for tat, give me the best, white singer versus the best black singer. Like, we have unbelievable talent, right?
Same.
No, and I think that's why, I do love Kanye, because I think he was pointing to this stuff really early. Like, when he jumped on stage and grabbed the trophy from Taylor Swift, Lauren's a little before the Trina.
I think she's like 24, 25.
It's actually not that. And by the way, he was factually right. The Taylor Swift video was like a girl dancing in a...
Candace, you just love bringing up Taylor Swift. I don't know what the beef is. I don't know what the rhetoric is. I don't know what the discussion is. I would have to take a further dive into that, a further delve into that to find out. But go ahead.
Mirror and Beyonce put out Single Ladies, one of the greatest music videos of all time, and they gave it to Taylor Swift. There's a narrative, there's a person that they're trying to make big whenever they make these decisions.
Trying to make big. She's already big. But if you know how the game works, if you know what the narrative is, if you've studied history behind the scenes, who they choose to be that girl, the it girl, and it happens to be Taylor Swift, that's that. I mean, there's no reason why you still can't have your opinion, take a stand and say how you feel, but not to get so caught up on Taylor Swift with her winning when she does. She won. She was chosen to win.
Also clarified by the Diddy lawsuit, because the person alleges, I'll say allegedly, that, you know, Diddy told him if he did this or that he would get producer of the year. Well, how could Diddy make that decision? How could Diddy offer that to somebody full stop? You know, this means that there's a different reason that people are getting awarded and are being platformed. And I have seen people that I just do not believe were made hot by black people that were suddenly being thrown in our face and being invited everywhere on red carpets, and suddenly they're, you know, next to Taylor Swift. It all just feels so artificial. It doesn't feel... Well, I'm giving an example. You guys talked on stage about Ice Spice. I mean, on the show about Ice Spice, you guys played my clip where I was talking about it. I don't have anything against Ice Spice. I'm sure she's a very nice girl. I really am sure. She's young. You know, that's not a justification. What is she, 20... How old is she?
I don't even know. I think she's like 24, 25.
It's actually, she's not that young, right? You know, like Lauryn Hill she was like 18 when she was on Sister Act. But, you know, the point is I don't fault her for making that music, but I am seeing this artificial promotion of Ice Spice. Like, all of a sudden, of all the people, that's who Taylor Swift decided to put on her on the stage.
Yes, that's who she decided to put on stage for whatever reasons that go on behind the music industry scene as to why they did do that, as far as sponsor deals, it's money involved. That's just the bottom line, that they came together, they found out that it can work with these two girls, but it's definitely money involved. I don't think they just came together to have a kumbaya prayer or just to see how it's going to work. I think there were systems in place that was put together for this to work.
And take to, you know, the Super Bowl, I have questions, you know, I just have questions. And I do think that Kanye was trying to say something, you know, in that moment.
Candace reminds me of the girl that knows so much but still does not know how to connect on an everyday level, because right now it's like she's trying to focus in on how can I start to reconnect and be invited in the black circle to let them know I'm still Candace. Just because I may be married to a white man, just because I may have different stance on things, just because I speak out on a lot of different platforms when it comes to being a conservative and who I might vote for and what I do believe and what type of oppression that has been spewed upon Americans, because a lot of these conversations is based upon Americans. She's not going to get too comfortable to directly speak to the black vote, to speak to black women.
Moment when he took the trophy from her.
But you know, when you listen to Lauryn Hill, you know, there were other music there that wasn't like Lauryn Hill music.
There was Little Kim.
That corrupt should never be in a position of power.
Yeah,
but she is a superstar.
I wonder if she should step down, because it is a distraction. You know what I mean? Like, people should be focused on the fact that Donald Trump, you know, attempted to overturn the results of an election in Georgia. Like, that's what the trial should be about.
Everything about that story has been sick from the beginning.
Married a white man.
Yeah,
Dr. Umar would have a huge problem with that.
Yeah.
You familiar with Dr. Umar?
I have heard of him. I have not listened to him, I'll be honest. What is his argument, actually, if you could just repurpose his argument?
He feels
everything black.
No.
Yes, it is. Everything.
He feels black men should be with black women, because when you're talking about it from an economic standpoint, you want to grow the wealth as a black family.
But that doesn't...
And if you marry somebody from another race, then, you know, your wealth will be with that person, and he doesn't like that.
Okay, I would love to talk to him more about that because, I mean, it's always very interesting to me to hear this paradox of black people who will make an argument that, you know, the system is racist and then also make an argument like this, which is essentially making an argument for the Supreme Court to revisit Virginia versus Love and basically say that black Americans and white Americans shouldn't be marrying. I think the greatest thing ever is when people come together on the basis of who they love and get married. You know, for me personally, I never thought of my husband as a race. This is very interesting to me that see people go, she's married to a white man. When I look at my kids, I'm not like, oh, my kids are mixed. I married the person that it made the most sense for me to marry. I have a mind that is just, you know, if you even knew half the things that I'm thinking about, the stuff that I'm reading, just go
Okay,
all the time.
stop there, Candace.
It was difficult for me to find a partner that was a challenge.
You found them.
You know, the challenge that I needed.
You got the challenge.
You want to take an academic challenge, whatever it is, with my same interests. It just was. What you will know, a lot of times people think that when people come together, it's because of how they look. Actually, I actually read this in a Thomas Sowell book, or maybe it's a Shelby Steele book.
She's still going.
People tend to marry their IQ, which is
I had no idea, never heard of it before in my life, but okay.
interesting. You think like if you see two black people together, oh, it's because they are two black people, but actually they are probably better matched based on their IQ. You know, I fell in love with my husband just because I think he is one of the most brilliant people ever. You know, I love him very much. The stuff that we talk about, I'm like, there is no other person that I could have married. We have 3 beautiful children who are growing up in an environment that I am just so happy that I was able to, you know, what every parent wants, to give your children better than you had, you know? And that's all I can say. I'm just the luckiest person in the entire world.
How was he gonna feel about you not finding him attractive and just liking him for his mind?
What do you?
Oh my God.
He got the smear already ready for the journalists that are listening. Candace says her husband is not. It was a bonus that I also think that he's beautiful and gorgeous and handsome, but it really was about his mind, you know, his ability to just dive into any subject.
Okay, so have you ever dated a black man, Candace? Let's go there.
Any subject, I mean, whether you're talking about mathematics, economics, politics.
Matter of fact, let me hear you swing by that real quick.
On building houses.
Let's get to the black man.
Just comprehends
the Hawaiian man.
Very quickly. So
the Asian man.
I know I married the right person.
The
I
Puerto
want
Rican
every
man.
person to never allow like race to be a barrier to you finding love. That is so foolish. That will stop you. And by the way, you know, there's been so much toxicity particularly in black relationships because of the media portraying black men as this or black women as this, and we just have to stop doing that, you know.
Have you ever dated black men before?
Yeah, I dated black men, which is another thing that I always find really funny because the media tries to portray me as someone who only liked white guys. Actually, if you want to be honest, I started off on a really strong Asian kick in my life.
Oh, I thought she was really about to say something about the black man. She said Asian.
My first boyfriend was Japanese. My second boyfriend was Korean. I just
Japanese,
really loved
Korean
Asian men.
You really loved them.
Yeah.
Not go ahead and say, I really love the black man. Did you really love the black men?
Well, I mean, there's Asian population everywhere.
I don't know, was there a higher one in San Francisco?
No,
you loved the black man? She never went back to it.
I don't
Guess
know.
not.
I just liked Asian guys.
Okay.
Someone's fetishizing
She just liked Asian guys.
Stop painting the headlines to be red. What is wrong with you?
What do you think is the biggest misconception of Candace Owens?
I think the thing that I hate the most is the media always makes it seem like I'm so angry all the time.
Just to wrap it up, I thought the Candace Owens interview on The Breakfast Club was just a bunch of, I know this, I read that book, I know this, and now I'm going to expound on this. Oh, but when it becomes something personal and you ask me about my marriage, and I'm married to someone white, but you go a little bit deeper in asking, have I ever dated a black man? Response, yeah. Then sweep over that. Mm-hmm. But it was nothing to really take hold of to go any further. But yet this is the person who's trying to get back in the black circle. I'm not saying that she had anything to prove by saying, yes, I dated black men, and that means that she's back in the circle. But Candace does have a lot of work to do. It's not that
I don't feel like she was ever canceled. I just feel like it was just some things that maybe she had done that people had canceled her. But I think she is trying, but she's going to have to do some listening, and she's going to have to be educated and not just go solely off of her books and what she's read. She's going to have to come out that bubble and come into a real life society in order to be woke. So hopefully her and Dr. Umar Johnson will be able to have a sit down or an exchange, or even if it's not him. But she needs to go beyond, because right now she's only scratching the surface. And overall, yeah, I felt like it was a slap in the face to the black man, because she immediately went on to talk about Asian men and just lit up. Why is the black man got to be on the bottom? He doesn't. He's not supposed to be. I'm going to always uplift the black man. Period.